shows Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray and Ranti Morel. How are you guys?
Amanda's good. I'm a bit tired, but apart from that, great.
So where are
I'm
you
good.
guys?
I was skiing all weekend, so it's been a little bit of a get back into the swing of things.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Mhm.
So the topic today is why self-concept is the real secret to manifestation. Most people think manifestation is about getting the relationship, getting the money, the opportunity, the glow up, the breakthrough. So they focus on vision board, affirmation script, and asking the universe for the results. But there is a deeper truth that changes everything. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe you are worthy of receiving. So, your self concept, the story you carry about who you are, what you deserve, what's possible for you, and how life responds to your decisions, your standards, your energy, your boundaries, your expectations, and the types of experiences you are consciously allow. When your self concept is strong, aligned, rooted, and true, your reality begins to match it, not because you're forced anything, but because you will finally become the version of you that naturally lives in that reality. So over to you, Grant or Amanda. What do you think about the topic?
I think it's appropriate. I think it's a good timing, um, partly because I wrote something in connection with Marie Diamond from the film The Secret, about which is about manifestation. Absolutely, is about that. So the timing is ideal. Um, that's been sort of publicised now, but the point is that manifestation, whether you know it or not, is around us everywhere. Now, you may or may not call it manifestation. It's not something, a word which I used to use, but when you look into what it actually is, it's something I do all the time. And I've done it for a very long time. I just never called it that before I became aware of the word all those years ago. But it's huge because we are always doing it one way or another. We either manifest something we want or something we don't, but it's around us everywhere you go. So I think it is an absolutely huge subject. Amanda, what's your thoughts about manifestation?
I think that manifestation definitely can be something that we can utilize, but it's something that you like believe within like every cell of your body. It's not just like doing a vision board and then like leaving it and forgetting about it and being like, okay, the universe will take care of it. There actually has to be actions that you're taking, and you have to like shift your energy in order to become that version of yourself that you want to become and almost act like you're already that person. And so I was actually just talking with a friend about something similar last night because they're going through a breakup. And so um they were asking about like how do you move on and like go dating and different things, and I was like, you really need to become the best version of yourself first. And when you become the best version of yourself first, that's when you're going to naturally attract somebody that's really good for you, because all of the other relationships that you had have been attracted to that energy that was the past version of yourself. And if you want to shift and change and attract something different, then you're going to have to become that person that deserves that type of relationship, right? And so if you want to attract like a really wonderful amazing person, then you also have to become this wonderful amazing person and like really be striving for what it is that you want to bring into your life, and then you'll naturally attract that. I always say, like, people ask me if I will go online dating, and I'm like, no, because the person that I'm meant to be with isn't there sitting there swiping. They are already out in the world doing the things that they're meant to be doing, and I will meet them naturally because I'm doing that. I'm out in the world becoming the best version of myself, and that's how I will attract that too. What do you guys think about that part of manifestation?
I think you're right. I think you're right, Amanda. Yeah, manifestation. You've got to put yourself in the zone. And one of the key things I think, which was never made clear to people at when it became a very popular thing, was that it's not just about sitting there and thinking of something. You actually have to take the steps. You have to do it. You have to create that momentum to make it happen. It's not the thing itself, thinking about it itself. That's an ignition. I see it's like it starts the engine, it starts it going, but it's not going to take you to your destination. Yeah, visualize it. Vision boards are great. Of course, it's not a one and done. You've got to keep looking at them. You've got to really make it as real as possible, the details. With a vision board, I take a vision board and I put that in my head as well. So I have a physical vision board and that image is in my head. So I carry that everywhere I go. Yes, you can put it on your phone, you can do it on the screensaver and all that is good. But also you've got to take the actions. Fortune favors the brave. When you do something about it, it's strange. In many cases, if you go from something, even if it's something that seems kind of unrealistic, if you think about it, if you focus, if you manifest it, if you take actions towards it, it's funny how life seems to get out of the way and the path clears and you start making your way towards it. It's a very strange phenomenon, which I've noticed. Nomsa, have you seen that? What do you think?
You're muted, Nomsa.
Grant goes.
It was great fun though, trying to guess what you're saying. It was great.
I like it when Grant says when you manifest and you know what you want, and like when he manifests, the vision board is on the board and it's in his heart as well as in his head. Everything is in his memory in that disk, so that disk knows what he needs. And that's what I do that, and that is powerful. And I had Pastor James saying as well that when you keep speaking what you want, that becomes the reality.
Mhm.
Like because it's in your heart. And I like Amanda when you said another pastor said what Amanda saying, that whatever you believe in needs to go to your blood. You need to feel it in your soul. And there's no other options or to say there's a plan B. I hear sometimes other coaches saying you should have a plan B. For me, I always believe that is either plan A or I tweak the journey. The path has to be clear, or I tweak my path. There
Mhm.
can't be a plan B. Why should I have plan B? Like today, I was saying to God, why shouldn't I have a first class life that I need? For me to show that I'm serving you, because if I'm struggling, it means I'm not serving you. So I was like, so you have to believe what, like a manifestation has to, because you can write a vision board. Some people write and then they just leave it. So you can write, but you have to know that you are that vision board. You are what you want to manifest. And if you believe big, you manifest big. As long as you understand the power of receiving, because when you manifest, you receive, it means you have to give as well to get more. What do you think, Amanda and Grant?
Yeah, I like that of like giving back is super important, and how can you like give in order to also receive. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever like manifested something completely that you wanted with like every cell of your body, and then how quickly did it come? Because there are some things that I have wanted to manifest that haven't come to fruition yet, but there are some things that I have manifested that I like got instantly. And I'll give you an example because we were talking about my cat earlier. So I had to put my one cat down a couple of years ago, and just last year, because we've had this one for a year now, I was saying my one friend got a puppy, and then I was saying, oh, I'd like to get a kitten again. It's been a year since we put our other cat down. I think like that we're maybe ready for a new pet. And she started sending me pictures of cats like on Kijiji, like the very next day. And I was laughing as I walked into work, and my student teacher was like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Oh, I told my friend yesterday that was maybe looking for a kitten, and she's sending me pictures of kittens like first thing this morning." And
Wow.
she's like, "Well, what kind of cat do you want?" And I'm like, "I don't know, like a free barn cat." I'm like, "But I want it to be gray, and I want it to be a female, and I want it to be small." And she's like, "My sister-in-law just had kittens and they have one gray female." She's like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me see it." And she's like, "Well, it was just born 2 days ago." So are you like, "Do you need it right away?" I'm like, "No, like we're in no rush. I just want it to be small and gray and like not super expensive." I'm like, and also I want it to be like mauled by people from day one so that it like loves people, that it's not like a crazy wild barn cat that's like never been touched by humans. And that's exactly what I got. She's a little crazy sometimes, but she like is super cuddly and she's tiny, and she was exactly what I was looking for. And I just like, it happened like instantly when I was like, I want a gray female and I want her to be mauled by humans from day one. And that's exactly what I got.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, when I think about manifestation, there's nothing in my mind, there's nothing in my life that I haven't got. I think, I think I'm right to say there's nothing that I haven't got that I haven't manifested. Not a single thing. Um, Meaning, think about this. Yes, I may have gone after things as well, gone after it, so I've taken the action, but everything has been created in my mind first. I wanted it. And I do visualize, and it's quite incredible how some very odd things turn up. And I don't necessarily get them exactly the same, but similar and quite frequently. And there's a good friend of mine. I told a story last night, and he manifested that he wanted a certain type of car, right? Gold color Jaguar. He wanted, right? With his personal number plate on it, his initials, right? He wanted. Yeah. Well, he didn't have the money for it. Nowhere close. Didn't have the money. And at the time, he was working in a gymnasium, right? Really, really visualized it, really manifested, really wanted. One night he's in the gymnasium. He's on the late shift. He's the only person there sweeping up. Right? So there's no one in the gym. It's just, it's closed. The doors are still open, but he's just about to lock the doors. Suddenly the doors open and a lady comes in. She says, "Oh, sorry, is the gym open?" She said, "No, I'm sorry, it's closed. It's closed for tonight." She said, "Oh, when's it open?" She said, "We're open tomorrow." How'd you join? And blah 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 blah. And she said, "Only that I'm looking for a new gym because I've just moved in the area. I've just got a new job and moved into the area." So, all right. And she said, "So I've got all the package and everything, and I want to get the gym, all that stuff." And he goes, "Okay, well, here's the details. Give us a call tomorrow." And blah, blah, blah. And, right. And I think he shows her around. Let's have a look. Okay, we'll come back tomorrow. And as she walks out, she goes to the door and she just turned and I said, "You don't know anyone who wants to buy a car, do you, really cheap? Because I've got a company car and I just need to get rid of this one. I don't want a lot for it because I've got a company car." He goes, "What car is it?" Now, it wasn't a gold Jaguar. It was a green Jaguar, the exact model he wanted. And he said, "Funnily enough, I kind of did want one of those." He said, "Personal plan." When he looks at the form and looks at her name, she's got the same initials as him. And guess what? She's got a private plate. And she sells the car so cheap he can afford it. So he didn't get the gold Jaguar with a private plate. He got the green Jaguar with a private plate from manifestation. True story. Amazing.
That's a really
Amazing.
story.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And all these things happen like that. It's quite something. It's quite something. It really
Yeah,
is.
I have a friend who's had something like kind of similar happen where they are very like a transient friend where they're like back and forth to Canada and to Costa Rica, and they've always like traveled the world, and this thing that they wanted to create in the last like 10 years has been like a retreat place or like own land in Costa Rica. And so in the last 5 years, he just bought some land in Costa Rica with his cousins. And then just last year, he got gifted land in Costa Rica as well. And he's like, it was so funny because he was like, remember when we were like 18 and I went on this sailing trip around the world with this like rich guy and I was like the like helper? And I said, yeah, I remember that. He's like, well, I just went to his son's wedding this summer. And last year I was like helping him because he owned this land in Costa Rica and he's trying to get some of his stuff in orders and he's this super wealthy man, and because I like helped him, he gave me this piece of land in Costa Rica. And so I'm like, well, now you have two pieces of land in Costa Rica. What are you going to do with it? And he's like, he said he's going to sell the one piece so that he can use that money to then continue to build on the piece that he's bought. And so I just thought that was absolutely amazing that something that happened 20 years ago, like
Yeah.
connected to this. And it
Yeah.
just was like, wow, that's like who just gets gifted a chunk of land from somebody that they're not related to. It was a pretty amazing story. So yeah, you never know where something's going to come from, or something from the past that will pop up in your life and just be like, here's this gift that you've always been looking for.
That is incredible. That really is.
Yeah, the power of manifestation is really, really powerful. I've had so many things like the land. Pastor James says if you don't have a land, that means he says every land that he has manifested for it, and people show up to sell it for him. And then he says, I don't have the money for now. And then that person will show up again and say, oh, do you remember that land I told you about? I've decided to donate it to the church. So he says, yeah, so he says you have to, but for him, he was explaining that you need to speak to the land. So
So,
I have been speaking to the land, the creepy things have been happening, and I was like, this thing is working. Every morning, just before I go out, it says you need to speak to the land to favor you because God created the land. So you have to make sure you speak to the land how you want it to bless you, because the occultic people, they go and speak to the land to get what they want and to destroy people. So why can't you just go and ask God to bless you in this land that you have, instead of living in struggle? So the power of manifestation. Me, I manifest, and I actually I refuse the plan B. I don't like plan B. I just manifest, and when I manifest, I just don't manifest for little things. I manifest big things, and it does come to pass. Sometimes I might have to go through little struggles because something when air wants me to give up, but as long as I stay in line with what I believe and stay in truth, it comes to pass. Because the power of manifestation, like Amanda, you said, it has to be in your soul. You have to believe it in your soul, and you have to believe that it works. I listened to one of the pastors. He was a Muslim before, and he said the reason why Muslims are succeeding and most Christian, they don't succeed. He was like, or whatsoever, is because when you want something, when things get hard, you opt out. He
what
was
was that
like,
last part? What was it? What was
you
that?
opt out when things get hard. You are like, I'm out. Like when you're manifesting, things get hard, you don't want to continue. So he was saying in the Muslim community, they are being taught to be soldiers. Everything that they do, they have to believe it in their soul. So
Yeah.
it was like, that's why people in the Muslim community see one moving in and the rest they move in, and they can even harm the country while the people are there, because for them, they don't play. So he was like, for me, I'm a Christian. So when I joined the Christian community, it was like I nearly went back to Muslim thing, because I was like seeing Christian community where everything is fake. There's nothing real. They are not doing it from their soul. So it was like, whatever you do, you got to do it from your soul. And in a way that in Nigeria, when he speaks, they wanted to attack him. They attacked him so many times. So now he manifested to God and said, I need protection from the government. And now he's being protected by the government.
So what was the point then about just doing something from the soul? Was that
No, he says when you're doing something, when you're manifesting whatever you do, you got to do it. It's got to come from your soul, in your blood. It's got to be in your DNA. You got to say it over and over and over and over. If it's a prayer, you say it over and over until it gets into your soul, until there's no negativity, until the negative goes and say, there's no room for me to be here. If I would say I want to be a millionaire, or I want to connect with God and say, I want to God's power, I've got to believe it in my soul. Even when things are tough or hard, I've got to rise and believe it. But he was saying he watched some people, how when they want something, but things get so hard, they opt out. And that's what human beings do anyway. They start a business and things get so hard. No, it's not for me. I can't lose my family. I can't lose my family. You won't lose your family because it's in your soul. It manifests, come to pass. So you got to open the doors. The doors are open when you believe in your soul that this thing is going to happen. This thing will happen. So you got to believe it.
I know people, so I know people do things in a small way. I was with one of my mentors once, and we was driving. We finished an event, and for some reason we went into central. We were in central London, but we went to a different part. And he said, "I said, well, shall we go by train?" He said, no, we'll drive. I said, "Where will we park?" He said, "Oh, we'll get a parking space." And he told me where. I said, "You'll never get a parking space there. I know that area very well. You won't. No chance at all." He said, there'll be a parking space. Right. I said, "No," he said, "There will." We drove there, and in this like circle, like a, like you've got like the grass park in the middle of the parking. You know what I mean? Uh, Not a single space, because you all pay and display. Every single space was taken, right? Every single one. And I thought, yeah, I knew it. Oh. We drove around it once, and which took 30, 40 seconds. As we came in the second time, a car just drove out right in front of us, leaving the space. He said, and he just, I said, "Gee," he said, "there's always a space." He said, "There's always a space. When you know it, when you tell yourself there'll be a space, there'll be a space." He said it was created for us. And it was weird. The way the car came out, it just looked weird. It was like, it like waiting for us to go around. And there's all other cars, right? All other cars looking for a space. There wasn't one. We went around just once. And as we get, it just, zoom, just came out quickly in front of us. And it was the next car in line. It was weird. Now, that may not seem that odd. Maybe it's experienced to you before. But this place is chock-a-block. And people don't just stop there for a few minutes and go, because like there's nothing next to it. It's a parking space. You leave it there, you go do your thing, you come back ages later. So that person must have been then gone for a while and just came back. And that was just one thing that struck my mind. But things happen. I can get feelings sometimes that I know I can make things happen. And there's a couple of things. Well, I'm not even going to mention here, but once there was a big event on, a very big event, a world class event, a world, famous event. And I went to go, and I was really tired, and I wasn't going to go. And everybody said, even the website said, don't go, it's closed. Right? Something just told me to go. And I said to my friend, I think I'm going to go. And he said, why? I said, are you going to do a Grant Morrell special? And I said, I think I am. Just I said, I think I am. And I came back and said, did you? I said, yeah. Something really strange happened. And yeah, um, kind of ended up being on the television a little bit as a result of it. Yeah, very briefly. And I was like, yeah, I knew it. It was very odd. Then I met someone who you probably seen, Nonsa, who I had just met at the time. And then they said, "God, is that English guy who was on TV?" Because where he lived in America, he was just checking his local sports team. And like newspapers own newspapers and big. So he's just checking on his local sports team. And of course, it's owned by a bigger newspaper. And of course, they reflect certain columns. And it mentioned my name. It's like Grant Morrell, coach from London. It's like, is that the guy who was on a Zoom call with us the other night? And then I asked, he said, are you dead? And did you? I said, yeah, that's right. And it all came from it. And I wouldn't even say that was even quite manifestation. It was just a feeling of knowing it will happen. I wanted something to happen, and it just did. And it was like the world got out the way. I mean, I made some effort, don't get me wrong. It didn't, it's not like the heavens just opened, but I made the effort and then they opened. And it was really weird. It was really weird. Um, um, oh, that was odd. That was really odd. But manifestation comes in a range of things. Sometimes you can go out and you think, I really need this to happen. I want it to happen. And it's the lucky break. Most people don't allow themselves to think it will happen. Most people don't allow themselves to think that they deserve it. But I think if you get in line with you think of who you are helping by doing these things, that helps to clear the path. Sometimes you can just make things happen. You can just go there. And it is about aligning your energy. And I think you either have to naturally have the energy, create the energy, or shift the energy. And that's when things get out the way. So if you combine that with manifestation, thinking, visualizing, detailing something, and get your energy right, it makes the world of difference. I was saying last night to people that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you imagine. It doesn't know the difference. It can't imagine it. So if you want something, imagine it. I was saying last night, if you're not confident, then just act confident. Now, I'm not talking about faking it, because I wrote a book over there, and it's not about faking it. I wrote a part of the book. It's not about faking. It's not faking. It's just acting. Because when people say I can't do that, I'd be nervous to do that. And I ask them, would your favourite actor be nervous to do that? Then usually they say no. Well, why is that? Say because they're a great actor. Yeah, but they're acting. Yeah. So why don't you act? Why don't you just borrow their personality for that hour? And afterwards, you can put it right back if you want. Just borrow the personality, because when you borrow it, the world doesn't know you're borrowing or acting that personality. And again, I reiterate, this is not faking it till you make it. I don't mean that. You just put on, like I just put this jumper on instead of a different one. I just put it on. It belongs to me. It fits. I just chose to put that on. If you put that, you act that role, it's easy to be acting because you're actually doing. Does that make sense? If I'm acting chopping wood and I've got an axe in my hand, I am chopping wood. I'm actually doing it. I'm doing it for the part of playing a role, but I'm actually physically doing it. When you physically do it, change your physiology, changes your psychology. Change your psychology, changes your energy, and that's how you change your energy or exchange your energy to match. And once you do that, people realize how easy it is to act that role because the world doesn't know you're acting. The universe doesn't know you're acting. It just sees you doing. Once you do it and you see it's easy, you wonder why you didn't do it before. Once you've acted that role a few times, you're no longer acting anything. It is you. It becomes your operating system. It becomes a habit. It's a behavior. It's who you are. It's congruent. And that's it. It's very simple. It's very simple, really. And that's how you can start to. There's many ways to do it. People have different ways to do it. But that will be a way to manifest. Be that role. Because whoever said that you're not, my view is that we are everything anyway. I am nervous. I'm confident. I can be everything. Aren't you nervous and confident? I am. I'm really confident. I can be nervous in certain things. So I have the ability to do both. Absolutely, categorically. I can be really smart and really stupid. I can do both. I do it both very well. It's just which one I select to be at that moment.
Mhm.
And if I don't know something, I'm nervous because I don't know it, then I can do it several times until I know it. Then my nerves go away, my confidence increases, then it belongs to me. I'm in the right environment, like a fish in water. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then it fits. And when you look confident, people give things to you. I don't mean giving you money, opportunities. They will, if you, okay, if you look like you've got a bad leg, someone will stand up and offer you a seat because it looks like it fits. Right? If you dress very nicely and walk up to a restaurant, they'll say, would you like to come sit down at a table? It looks like you fit. If you go for, I don't know, a job, a position, a role, and you look confident, you will probably get offered the role. When you look desperate, you won't get it. Guys, if you ever went on a date and looked desperate, you probably didn't get the date, right? If you want evidence of it, there's evidence. If you look confident, if you've got to get the mixture up. If you're kind of unattached to the outcome, you will get it. It goes where it's comfortable. Yeah. If I get a glass of water and spill it, it will find the crack and go into the crack, which holds the water. It goes where it goes where it's harnessed. It goes where it's kept. And that's right. So if you are comfortable in that role, people look around the room. If you can be that, they look at you and see that person. Sees totally. Nomsa does a show or something, and you go there. Nomsa looks like she's been sitting in that seat for 100 years. She belongs in that seat. Now, okay, you got there, and can you do it? Yeah, you can do this. You've got some experience, so you're kind of in the ballpark, right? But outside, how do you choose that candidate? It's the one who just looks like they belong there, and that could be confidence. Okay.
Yeah,
There you
that piece
go.
about dressing how you want to be treated, I think is really important. I know I've had this conversation like multiple times with people around like dress for the role that you want. And if you want people to like respect you, then you have to like dress that part. And even if you're feeling crappy one day, you still should like dress like you feel good because then you'll actually like feel better because even when we're having like I don't feel super great today, but I still dressed nice for work and it's freezing out, but I'm like I'm gonna wear a nice sweater dress and try to make it the best of the day. But I know even for myself how I've been treated differently based on how I've dressed in certain situations. And I know I have explained this story to people before, but one time I was searching for a dress for a wedding, and I went in right after work and I went shopping, and I like had these people like dote on me because I was dressed professionally, and I was looking for the dress, and they're like handing me all these different dresses to try on. And then I didn't buy one that day, but I went in the next day and I was in my soccer jersey, football for you guys. And I was running to soccer and I was like, oh, I'll just run in and grab that dress. And nobody would help me in the store. And I was like, I was just here yesterday. It was the exact same people working. Yesterday I was dressed as a professional. Today I'm dressed like I'm running to a soccer game. And the day I was dressed like I was running to a soccer game, no one would help me. I was like, I literally just talked to these same people yesterday, but I was treated very differently. And so I didn't end up buying my dress from there because I was kind of annoyed by them. I ended up shopping and going to buy a dress somewhere else. But it just goes to show how, even when it's somebody, the same person, how you show up
Yeah.
determines how you're going to be treated. And as much as we want to say, well, we can look through that, we can't. It's something that's really difficult. And so that's why in my profession as a teacher, I always think that we need to dress as professionals in order for society to see us and view us as professionals. And I get very disheartened by people in my profession who don't dress professionally, because I'm like, the society sees us, the students see us. When we are not dressed as a professional, they don't take us seriously. And so I think that's something that's so, so important. And I'll always dress down on Fridays because it's like casual Fridays, but for the most part, I always dress the part of a professional because I believe I'm a professional. And I believe that we should show that to society no matter what you're teaching, whether you're teaching kindergarten or you're teaching grade 5 or you're teaching high school. You need to dress for the situation that you're in. And I try to always teach my daughter that as well, is that you dress for what it is that you're doing that day. And if I want to be viewed as a professional in my profession, then I'm going to dress as a professional because that's how people will view me. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced something like what I experienced at the mall, or even in your profession, or even Grant with the people that you've coached. Have you had, even, I used to think like, I wish I could just take these people to the mall and buy them new clothes so that they'd look and feel better. And then they would like go out into the world with more confidence, because some people don't know how to shop either. Right.
I'm not going to give away too much here, but when I sort of co-run retreats and stuff, there's a part of this we do for people. We go through their brand and we look at things like this and we sort them out. And people say, "Oh, I don't like to do this. I do this to do it." And quite often I'll end up lending them my jacket or something, and they put it on. They go out the room, come back, and everyone goes, "Oh wow!" Yeah, and their demeanor, their energy shifts when they do it. It's interesting to watch. It's really interesting to watch. Same person, same knowledge, everything. It's just sometimes, yeah, those aspects, the textures make a difference to them. Colors, color psychology speaks an awful lot. Texture, how people feel, it goes in line with your values as a person, and when you do that, you're aligned. When you're aligned, so it's important to know these things. When you're aligned, like a company has its values, its systems. I coached a person the other day who's on a very, very large multinational company in aviation, and aligning these companies. And we was talking about how to do it and giving some ideas. And it makes a huge difference. But once you've got these things aligned, there's colors, there's words, there's philosophies, there's values. Everything's like a straight line. Again, things start to get out of the way when you line things up. And people notice and people listen because people will identify their identity with yours. Okay. And that's when you're in flow. It's beautiful. And that's when it feels like you're floating, like nothing, you're not really working. Things just happen. So it's not getting one thing, it's the jigsaw puzzles, getting these things lined up. And if you manifest, you think about it, you see it, it's no great surprise, is it, that these things start appearing on your radar. But it starts, you need to make the first step. And you're absolutely right what you said, Amanda. It's not just visualizing, which is important. It's really important. No, it's taking those actions. What is the action you need to take? When I work with people's goals, I look at I look at and I've been starting being quite harsh with people. What's your goals? What you want to achieve? And I want to do this. Okay. What are you going to do then to make that happen? They don't tell me you want to make $10 billion and then you're going to sit on the sofa eating potato chips the whole time, because you could get lucky. But if I was a betting man, I would say that's probably not going to happen. You may need to make fate work for you, right? So have a plan, have your actions that are proportionate to the size of the goal that you want to achieve. Make yourself the person, the size, the same size person, the same size goal that you want. We have to grow ourselves. If you want to achieve big things, you need to become a big person. Doesn't mean to say loud. I don't mean loud. You could be really quiet. You could be an introvert, but it needs to be something smouldering inside of you. There needs to be something big. You need to be working on something big, large strategic moves, or get the right network of people to do this. You've got to work and you've got to be focused. You've got to be focused on it. These things start coming together. This is when manifestation starts to work really well, in my opinion. It all starts coming together and you start becoming it. It's not when you pretend. So you can act for a few times until it becomes you. But it's not trying to be something. It's being something. Don't pretend, just be it. I said to someone last night, they wrote to a big sort of art company promote. They was interested in work, and they wrote a proposal to them. Guess what? They come back and said, "Yeah, we'd like to invest in." And they said, "Oh my God!" They said, "I've got a size card. I've never done it before in my life. What do I do?" I said, "Nothing. Don't worry about it. Just read it, get the advice on it, and sign it." What then? I said, "Don't worry about it. It's signed. Just do your magic. Don't think about it. Just, they're paying you for your magic." "Oh, I'll try it." I said, "Don't try. Just be. Just be it. Own it. It's you. It is you. It's been given to you. It belongs to you. It is you. Just be." And step into that. Step into that environment. And that's it. Because the world doesn't know that you're new. It doesn't know. You're just there. And that's it. And when we visualize, I used to do a thing called Bengston energy cycling, which is like a manifestation. Um, when you imagine having a thing, you don't sit and think, "Oh, I got this because I did this, did that." You just you imagine it as if you have it, as if it's normal. No big deal. It just belongs to you. It's what you do. Yeah. Just like you go into the kitchen now and you got your kettle there, you got your clothes and you got your bed. You go, "Oh my God, oh wow. How did that get?" Well, it's yours. It's been there. Right? It belongs to you. It's no big, it's not a surprise. You may like it, you may be grateful for it, and that's great. But you're not surprised because it belongs to you. That's it. As if you already have it, because then you embody it. That's my point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, you have to go deep when it comes to manifestation. Like both Amanda and Gandhi said that whatever sometimes the things are happening and you'll be like, oh, like I write things. I've got my big vision board. I write them down and I put it on my head, and I just put it there on my head. And sometimes you see it happening, and I'm like, I've been wanting this to happen. There's one thing that I've been wanting and wishing to happen, I think, since I left home, until it started happening now. And then I'm looking back, I'm like, this is what I wished for my family for a very long time. And I was like, it's happening now. So now I've got to be really careful with what goes into my mind. It has to be positive things. So I'm thinking, if I'm manifesting these things and positive things, that means whatever I wish, negative things, it happens. So I'm staying well clear for negativity, Grant and Amanda. Yep, I'm staying well clear. Because these things is the things that I wanted it to happen. There's something that I always wish that someone in my family would do and things like that. And I always believe that they had that in them. And all of a sudden now they are shocking me. And I'm thinking, what the heck is that? So I'm like, I'm never ever thinking negative things about anybody. That means that when I'm thinking negative, I'm harming people. I might as well use my mind to manifest good stuff to come to pass. So yeah, that's what I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting. I've been manifesting from course talk shows, and I know one day it's gonna happen. I know one day is going to happen that is gonna shock people, things will change, and I know that in my heart. So I like the power of manifesting, not just talking, but believing and putting it in my DNA and just doing things and stuff. I like that.
I did this with a radio show years ago. I had before you guys know, I had a radio show, and I heard somebody I knew had a radio show. And I was like, wow, amazing! I'd love to do that. It was great, and it was good. And this person was really talented, but always gets really nervous. You know, and I don't know why, because they're really prepared, they're really great, and they're good. And they got on well, and they knew that I was quite relaxed in that kind of environment. Right? There you go again, confident in that environment. Yeah. There's proof of what I'm saying. And blah 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 blah. They had the show, and I got a phone call from them, and they said they've got a radio show. I said, I know, I heard. It's fantastic, it's great. I said, but they said I've got the first show coming up, and I'm really nervous. I said I need to have like a guest that I can really sort of bounce off, and if it goes wrong, I know they won't flip out. They'll just be calm. I said, would you be my first guest? And I'm like, wow, I would love to. Right. And we went there. And the first show, I'll never forget, it was freaky. We was there and they was all prepared. They really got themselves upset and nervous first before I was there. And so it was a while before I saw them because they've been crying and this lady had been crying. So, and she got all ready. And again, she doesn't need to because she's good. And we're there. And she's interviewing me. And lo and behold, for some strange reason, there's banging outside. There's like construction workers outside. And she's looking, you can hear it on the microphone. It's never happened before, never happened since. Right? Never happened. And she looked at me and I said, look at this. I said, see how popular you are? People are banging to get into the show. I said, and she like, we just made fun of it. Right? And we started doing these things. Anyway, the format of it at the time was you do that, then you play songs in between, and then you'd have like a two, then she'd do two songs, and you'd go and get a cup of tea. And I love tea. And I popped out, and the producers of the station had gone out on a kind of like a Shark Tank Dragon's Den thing, yeah, nearby. So I hadn't seen them when I got there. In that first half, we was there. They had come back and was in their office. Well, that's where they had the coffee machine, etc., and tea machine. And I walked in. Oh, sorry. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you was here. I said, I'm in a show. I said, yeah, we know who you are. And I had a cup of tea. I said, right. I said, how long have you been on radio? And I said, well, I haven't. And they said, no, but how long have you been doing radio shows? I said, I haven't. They said, what do you mean? I said, but you just heard you. And I said, yeah, that's the first one I've done. They said, you've never done it before? I'm like, no. I'm just a guest on that person's show. I said, okay. They said, when are you going to have your own show? And I said, what do you mean? I haven't got a show. I said, when you can have a show? I said, I don't know. I don't know how I'll get a show. They said, hello, we run a radio station. We like you. We've been listening to you. I said, who's that guy? Would you like to have your own show? And I was just, mate, I said, I'm just having a cup of tea. I've got to go back in. I'll talk to you later. And that's how it happened.
That's
And
amazing.
I had it in my mind that I want to go there and have my own show.
That's amazing.
Yeah. True story. Maybe I never told you the story. I never told you. It was about 8 years ago. And I thought, and I honoured my friend's show, and it was. And yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it. And it was not long before Christmas, and we couldn't find a date, an evening that I was available, and they had a slot. There just wasn't anything there, and it was going on, and it was coming to the end of the year. And I thought, I don't want to start next year. I don't care if I just do one show at the last week of this year. I wanted to do it in this year. I want to, and then somebody left, and they said, "Can you choose that?" Yep, that was it. And I did one show like about a week before Christmas or something, and that was it. Yeah. Yeah. I put it in my head. And whenever I do this, I get the same kind of feeling that when I did the Grant special, that unusual thing out, it was the same feeling. It was a feeling of certainty. So when they asked me, it was kind of like, I knew they was going to do them. It was like it's happened before, and if anything, like I've stepped back in time to before it
Mhm.
happened, because it has really already happened. That's and I've never described it like that before, but that's kind of how it feels. When you want it and you're aligned and you feel you're right for it, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I don't care, because I know now if it didn't happen, it's because that wasn't meant to happen, because something bigger in
Mhm.
that same environment is going to happen. So it stopped me from doing it there, because it's going to allow me to do it bigger there. And I know that. And that happens. That happens. But yeah, this one happened. And that's how it started. That's why I started having a radio show.
I
And
think that's amazing. But that is the
Any words of
manifestation.
encouragement about that before you go?
I think that whatever it is that's in your head, like Grant just said, where you just trust that through the process you'll connect with the right people and it will happen. And whatever it is that you are visualizing, that you have to also start doing things towards that, which Grant's was being a guest on a radio show. And then that allowed you to meet the people that allowed you to have your own show. And so it's like getting out and doing things. If Grant just was sitting visualizing in his house that I want to be on a radio show, or I want to have a radio show, and never actually was doing any steps towards that, he would have never had the opportunity. So part of it is also getting out into the world and living that life that you want to live, and connecting with people that are already doing the things that you want to do.
yeah, it's there. You put yourself in the environment, you make it happen, you went there, you do it, and you show up congruently, and it can happen. So the question is, what do you want? What do you want, and why do you want it? Because I think when your purpose is aligned, this helps to clear the path. This helps to, it's like a vacuum that sucks you into it. Okay. It's not effort, it's just flow. Yeah. It's like a vacuum. When you want it and you have a reason to, like it fits like a hand in a glove, like you're the right person, you're the right voice to make that thing happen, to champion that cause or something. That's what happened. Now, whether that means in a relationship that you meet someone and they're just right for you, people say they both walk in, they look at each other, and they knew at that moment, that's it, they're together, because it fitted. It's just something that fitted. It's like, yeah, yeah, it's an instinctive thing people know, whether that's a job, whether that's getting a part if you're an actor on a play or something. I don't know. Whether it's a job, a relationship, a career, these things happen. How many times people keep showing up keep putting themselves in the environment, keep manifesting. So if you look at there was a pop star, and I'm not going to mention the name, going back a long time, who wasn't a particularly great pop star at the time, but was very keen, fitted into the environment, used to keep showing up. And every time they said, like the energy, right? The energy was there. And when I asked him, and energy momentum, can we have people on this TV show dancing? He'd say, yep, I'll do it. And he would dance. Can we have some people over there? I'll do it. He'd be over there. Can we have some people move those boxes from there to there? I'll do it. He was there the whole time, kept showing up. Eventually, one day, I said, oh, can we have some people dancing on stage with a band? He said, I'll do it. One day, the drummer didn't turn up. They said, is there any drummers in the band? I said, I'll do it. I can play. I said, you again? You, you're always here. He kept shouting, said, your energy is fantastic. Can you play drums? Yeah, I can. A bit. And he played the drums all right. At the end of the gig, the band said the drummers left. Do you want to join? He went, yeah. He joined. 2 weeks after, the manager said to him, can you sing? Because you've got the right energy. And he could sing. And he said, I'll cut a song with you on your own. And that's how it happened. Kept showing up with the right energy. Yeah. He raised his energy, changed his frequency. Positive, ego, easy effort. It was in flow, doing it all the time. It wasn't hard work. It was a pleasure. And eventually that just noticed, like, who is that person? Where do you keep going? And that's where things happen. And did he manifest it? Did he visualize it? You bet. You bet. So many times. So many. So that when he stood on that stage, he didn't look awkward. He looked like he belonged because he's been there in his
Yeah.
mind so many times. He knows exactly what it feels like. And yeah, you look right here. Yeah, damn right. In my mind, I've been here 1,000 times. Bend it like Beckham. They used to say, yeah, Beckham could bend the ball and kick it into the goal. He visualized that so many times. That wasn't his first. He practiced it. He practiced it. He practiced it on the pitch and in his mind. He was mentally ready. He was aligned. It was manifested. And that's what I think.
Yeah, you have to like change your self-talk in real time. Like what you say, Grant, you have to be ready as well. Identity is formed during pressure moments, and the old identity returns when triggered. When triggered, says old story, then choose new truth. I'm safe, I'm worthy. So this guy believed that he was worthy to do anything, and he was willing. For him, he knew that there was no room for him to say, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Uh-huh.
He knew that if he want to do something, if he wants to take his life to the next level, he got to show up for himself. He got to say yes when people are asking, and that's my attitude as well, my character. I always show up for whatever I believe that I can do. I show up for that. If I go to church, if my pastor needs a help, I'm there to help. Whatever is happening, or if I go to wherever the department I go, any area of my life, if a help is needed or they need something, I'm there to help. So I don't say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. I just show up. Sometimes you find people get angry because they're like, why does this person keeps, she's the one that keeps doing this? But it's when you actually put yourself out there, because if you're willing to put yourself out there, and God is willing to take your life to the next level. So it's you get to what you think you could become just by believing that you could be that. And I think that's important. Do you have any words of encouragement, Grant, before we leave?
Words of encouragement.
It's 13 minutes past 2. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of encouragement, Think what you want. Don't think how you're going to get, just think what you want. Think why you want it. Who you can help with it, not just yourself, but others, so that it becomes bigger than you. Very important. Become the person you need to become to have it. I grow, develop yourselves, and we can help you with that. We can help you reach out. This is what we do as coaches. And people do change your energy. And when it changes your energy, things start attracting to you. Things come to you. So know what you want, crystal clear vision, details, everything. Like my friend with the car, the color, the number plate, everything, the interior, the music that will play in it, the smell of it. Really get visual, get that. What the purpose, why you want to do it, who else would it help, not just you. Can't be a selfish thing. Who else will? Right? Then become the kind of person that has those things, that attracts them, whether that be the love of God, whoever your God is, whether it be that partner, whether it be a job, whether it be something artistic, whatever that thing is, be the kind of person where that thing doesn't look unusual, where that thing fits and things will start coming to you. Manifest, manifest, manifest. And then your reticular activating system starts finding these things. It starts showing up because then you've got to be aware, right? Your antennas got to be up so you recognize it when it comes, because it may not always be obvious, but it's there knocking on your door. That's my words of advice. What about you, Nomsa? Oh, I think you're muted. Nomsa, I can't hear you.
I'm muted.
Aha. There you go. Got you now.
Yeah, so align your daily routine with your identity. Identity is reinforced by habit. You can't embody abundance while living in neglect. Create 3 identity routines: hydration, movement, reading, prayer, journaling, etc. And just make it a habit until you develop that habit and believe that you can be who you want to be. May I do things, there's no plan B when I'm doing things, and I don't opt out when I'm doing things. Like Grandy said, we're here. If you want coaching, you want to connect with us, please do connect. You can go to the website www.hseia.coach, or you can contact us on social media. God bless, guys. Live with grace. I will see you guys tomorrow.